What's going on, my lane ones? This your boy DMC himself, Mosh baby in the building, and it's time to really sit down and talk about something that's really been interesting lately. Obviously, I don't just read One Piece; I follow other series too. But one series has really been drawing my intrigue, and that one is Black Clover. And honestly, we have agenda piece and quote piece in One Piece, but right now there's something I like to call the him agenda, and it's in full swing after chapter 336 of Black Clover. So without further ado, let's get right into it. See, I wanted to start off with the bada bing, bada boom, the realest man in the room. Please stand up. You already know the vibe. I always bring this around and I get into it. You might remember, we gotta set the mood. You can't just jump into it. So right now we're gonna sit here and talk about the him agenda. Let me fix the volume there. Boom. The him agenda, full swing, and the one who starts it all off. The Zogratis brother, he himself, Mr. Him. When it's one-on-one with the Supreme Devil, you bet on him, Lucius Zogratis. Not only does he have soul manipulation, not only does he have the power of Lucifer, not only does he have time magic, but my man, my top dog, has portrayed a form that we have never seen before in Black Clover. Is it angel? Is it angel magic? Maybe. The man who foresaw everything, and there was one person that stood in this way. We thought he was the strongest, the anti-magic, the devil himself, leaving Asta. We took him out. Yes, he used Sister Lily, and Sister Lily basically fried him, sent him away. We all thought he was dead, but is he really dead, guys? Come on, it's Shonen. Recently, what's dead is not dead in Shonen. Can you blame him? Not really. The show must go on, though. So we get Lucius possibly eliminating Asta, but now we also get his half brother, the one who said to the one who has said to have surpassed him, the Grand Magic Knight himself, Yuno Grimbario, the man who not only is the son of the Elven Child, not only chosen by the Sliff, but also has two grimoires, one from the Clover and one from the Spade, the man who said to have the Golden Spoon, Mr. Yuno himself. Now, honestly speaking, with this chapter and everything being flat out for everyone's like, damn, Asta may be dead. He's either dead, far away, or in a different dimension, and maybe all three. But at the end of the chapter, we got something very interesting. But I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But Yuno said, if I must do it, I must surpass him. I must be the one to defeat Lucius Zogratis. But Lucius is like, man, you know, I'm a man with many talents, and I can see many things. And there's only one person, one unique being that's standing in my way. If I'm him number one, he's him number two. And if I must do it. Algemeka said that me and the Supreme Devil went after him, but basically he wiped him out in half a year. I mean, he wiped them out easily with only trading of a year. There we go. But things are interesting now, man. Yuno has to surpass the Magic Knight, the Magic Captain, the Magic King to get to the top. Lucius is like, I got to get rid of two things, Asta and Yuno. You got one done, there's only one more job left. So who's really him? The him agenda, full swing. Lucius Zogratis, Yuno Grimbario. Pick your side. Will evil prevail, or will justice reign on? Let's find out. Honestly speaking, with everything going on right now in Black Clover, I do want to talk about Lucius. Obviously, right now, Lucius is said to be this being that is like untouchable. And even to the Magic Knights or the Magic Captains who've trained for a year and 3 months after having lost Lucifer, obviously you think that with that in mind, they would have to probably amp themselves to be able to take on the forces that are going to come later on. The situation that we're at, Rill, who basically is like a revive pack every single time, takes no damage. You know, like, come on, like Rill at that point saying that he's still way out of our league, and Fuego being like, yeah, after having trained with the Spirit. So now we're really thinking, okay, like how strong is Lucius? And yes, now we have one Yuno coming in saying that if I must, I'll be the one to do it. But actually, if Asta is dead, I have to be the one to do it. I will surpass him, and I will become the Wizard King. So now we're getting a situation where Lucius, the man who's been planning this whole thing, who has multiple forms of magic and multiple ways to actually get at you, Yuno saying I have to surpass him. And the way it almost read to me was like Yuno saying that I'm willing to do whatever I need to do in order to defeat you. Whereas Asta hesitated with Sister Lily. Yuno's like, I don't care. You killed Asta, and right now you have Sister Lily turned into a devil attacking me. So it's almost to the point where like Yuno is like so filled with rage that he's willing to do anything. And it's sort of very reminiscent to what happened with Xenon. So with Xenon basically having to kill his friend in order to kill the devil, I can see that the same situation almost happened with Yuno. Whereas Yuno's like, I had to do it for this person. Xenon was doing it for his brother. Yuno's not doing it for Asta. It's being like, if I had to sacrifice someone who's in my way to do this, I'm not willing. I'm like, I will do it. So essentially, make a situation where we actually get that parallel reiterated in the story with Yuno and Xenon, but we move. But the reason why I'm talking about the him agenda is because now, like I said, Lucius has not only soul manipulation, but at the same time, he has he can control time, see throughout time, and also has basically gravity magic with Lucifer, but also the power of Lucifer. So a lot of cards are in his hand, and if you can basically not only purify the magic of a human, but also turn him into a supreme devil, it could be a situation where he goes after people who may have hold strong impact towards other characters, or maybe people with the strongest magical attribute or aptitude, where like the elves may come into fray again. Whereas we got to see Patry. Yeah, Patrick basically get turned into a devil later on, but then it got saved. A situation where he may go after the elves, he may go after maybe another race that we haven't really seen before. Maybe we do get angels. Maybe he goes after the people of the Diamond Kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So like now things are really getting pretty interesting because Lucius basically has everything at his whim. Like, yes, he understands that like devils are strong, but at the same time, his plan wasn't to actually make the devil strong. It was to make humanity strong and have undying bodies. So now like him putting his plan out and going forward with it gets really interesting because at the same time, he not only has a situation where he has time magic, but also can see everything, but now he has other people who have already experienced something very similar. And that's why I'm talking about Yami and William. Because essentially, if he used Yami in order to manifest Lucifer, why not try to use him again? Right, and if he only saw the only flaw was Yuno, the only one thing, the one unique person that can actually stand in his way was Yuno. So what are these other beings? Like, are they just like fodder, or are they part of your plan? So Yami's already Yami never got taken over. Yami from the beginning was always having to fight the people very close to him. Like first he had to fight first he had to save Julius, but also he wanted to go fight William. And him and basically William and Yami have a close relationship because basically Julius went out and sought these two beings that brought them together and that changed their lives essentially. And the one problem with that is that was it all part of Lucius' plan, or was that really Julius just like, oh, I need these people in my life because their magic is unique? But the way it's looking is like Lucius was the one behind it the whole time. And that's why it's going to hurt Yami even more, because the one person that he basically gave his life to, essentially coming from his homeland to this new island, being discriminated and then being brought in by Julius, was this all just a part of Lucius's plan. And so now Yami is not, so in the chat we see how pissed off Yami is. And it could be a situation that he's so pissed off because he realized that I'm being used yet again for someone else's plan. The first time was when he got captured by the Dark Triad, but essentially now everything he's experienced in this kingdom has been a part of a bigger plan. So now Yami's like figuring out with himself, like not only was he just entirely used and thrown away, but at the same time, the person that he wants to bring up, the person he saw closest to him out of all the Black Bulls, I know he's close to all of them, but at the same time, like, you know, Yami and Asta had a very close relationship because Asta was sort of like how Yami like saw himself in the beginning. He also is now possibly dead by the very person who brought him in for him to even bring in Asta. So now he's like, wow, this sucks. And the reason why this sucks for Yami is because of everything I just mentioned, but for William, it sucks even more because William also experienced that same situation with Julius, and he didn't even know. Well, Yami didn't know either, but William didn't know either. So Julius was basically either he didn't know. Julius was basically turning a blind eye to William, and essentially when the shit hit the fan and Julius was killed for the first time, it was William basically deciding like, one of you guys are both my close friends, but the person who wins is the one that was right in the whole is the one deserving to be the right one. So essentially, not only is William upset because he did that to Julius, but at the same time, the same thing that happened to him is happening to Julius, and right now he sort of is hopeless again. Like, he couldn't decide between Julius before, so now is he hopeless again to the point where this being that he has to face is too strong? And if he does go after Lucius, is it a point where like maybe he turns a human soul into Julius himself, but maybe he abandons his time magic and uses Julius as that scapegoat, whereas he used Sister Lily for Asta. He's like, now there's a lot of things in his hand because at the same time, the only person he saw was Yuno. So it may be a situation where William and Yami were a part of his plan and will be a part of his plan, but we have to wait and see. But moving forward, we're now going to talk about Asta. See, the interesting thing about Asta now is because he's not dead. I mean, for right now, he isn't dead. But maybe he is dead and he gets brought back. But essentially, we see him wash up on an abandoned island with his grimoire right next to him, almost reminiscent to how his mom died with the grimoire right in her hand. So it could be a situation, or did she die or did she wash up? I can't remember. I think she was when she was dead and when she put leave in the grimoire. But essentially, now we see Asta in this almost like a foreign land, what they were trying to portray as a foreign land. We see like a bonsai tree in the back. Asta basically has a hole in his chest. He's laying down, and then a being walks up to him. We see the light shining from behind him. The interesting thing about this panel is because there's a lot of theories going on. The one theory is that this is actually Asta from the future. One theory is that it's actually Yami's homeland. It's possibly Yami's father. Another theory is that it's Yeah, it was actually just those two theories. It was Asta himself, or Yami's homeland, or Yami's dad. So essentially, what I'm also thinking that it could possibly be just Julius, right? Because they specified it could be a different country, which could possibly mean, so they made it so that we have to try to guess between the three. A different country, by different country it means different country could possibly mean like pulling up to Yami's homeland. Different dimension could possibly mean that like they're probably in the underworld or somewhere else, or dead is him obviously not making it. It could be a situation, it could be two of the three. Well, Asta is dead and he is in a different dimension, and because of that he gets brought back to life. And essentially when the person walked up to me, he's like, oh, there you are, meaning that he was actually looking for Asta. But the hair is very interesting to me, right? So everyone has a theory that Asta is basically Asta's dad. And Asta's dad is the other one. Sorry, I said Yami's dad, but also Asta's dad. Sorry. But essentially, the hair, they're saying the way the hair looks is very interesting, because not only does it remind me of William, but it also reminds me of when you look at Yuno in this, not Yuno, when you look at Lucius in this chapter, the way his hair looks is very reminiscent to how this person with the sun behind him looks as well. So I was thinking maybe it could be a situation where Asta's in a different dimension, Asta's possibly dead, but he's also where Julius is. And if it is Julius, it could be a situation where he gets healed by Julius by, turning back time. But now I'm really interested to see how it plays out. Because like if Asta is dead, his connection to being part devil, but also being tied right to Alib, could play a factor in how he gets back to being alive. And also the fact that Sister Lily didn't like kill him right away is also interesting, because like it just shows you that Sister Lily still has like some remorse or some control of herself in the back of her mind, but she just can't like fully control it because she's technically being manipulated, or her soul being manipulated and changed by Lucius. So now I'm really interested to see how it's going to play out. And the way it's looking is that Lucius thinks Asta's dead, because there's no way he would just like allow Sister Lily to transfer him to a different dimension, him completely not realize, and then not do anything about it. Or it could be a situation where he wanted Sister Lily to send him there and keep him there, or send him there to confirm that he's completely dead. I don't know. So the way it's all playing out right now, I'm not really sure who it could be at the end, but at the same time, at the end, it's very interesting because it plays into a lot of things that we've been wanting to see for so long. Yami's home country, we get it right here with Asta. Asta being the son of Astaroth, we can get it right here. Asta somehow being tied to time and angels could be placed right here. So the person looking for him could be anything, and Thompson has a plethora of ways to go about it, so I'm very interested to see how it plays out. But for the him agenda, right now, like, looking at how Asta only, like, I was very sort of disappointed in how Asta's power-up developed after a year and 3 months. Like, I understand like him being able to focus his Devil Union power onto like one part of his body so he can make it last for 10 minutes. But at the same time, still only being able to hold it for 5 minutes after a year plus is very like, wow, damn. So I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but at the same time, I'm just saying that I feel as though what we're going to see from Yuno is going to be more impressive than what we saw previously from Asta. And I know Asta really didn't get too deep into his bag because the fight ended pretty quickly. I know later on Asta really going to get to his bag, and that's why I think that he had to have died so early. I always say that if a character that's supposed to be an endgame fighter or gets written out early in the series or early in the saga or the arc, is because they're so powerful at the moment that they can't keep them until the end because it'll be over too quickly. So essentially, I can see that happening, and maybe even Asta again in like a training arc, because it is a dimension that time moves differently. But like I said, Tabitha has so many ways to go about it. But what do you guys think? The him agenda's in full force. So who are you backing right now? Who's really him, the top dog? Is it Yuno? Is it Lucius? Or you think it's Yami? Because I mean, Yami with a year training, maybe that guy. I ain't gonna lie. And he's pissed off now. So hey, well, like I said at the end of every single video, let me click it back. Like I said at the end of every single video, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell button to come back next time. Remain in line, y'all. Get right, don't get left. And until next time, y'all, peace.